trip for all college-bound teens and their parents. Our road trip to college has had an incredible month. We've had over 8,000 visitors to our website, roadtriptocollege.org, 800 participants in our info sessions and webinars. We featured over 150 admissions representatives, Hillel professionals. We've engaged over 80 Jewish college students. And when all is said and done, we'll have brought 33 college info sessions, all in the month of June. All of our content is being recorded, so don't worry if you miss anything. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is on our website, and watch everything. I want to thank UT student Gracie Goldstein for taking over our social media today. You can follow Gracie and all of our virtual bus drivers at JumpSparkATL. So we are extremely excited to feature the University of Texas. Our panelists today are from admissions, Alexandra Taylor, from Hillel, Maya Chard-Yaron, and our students today are Sloan Wyatt and Dorothy Isker. So as our panelists are presenting today, please feel free to enter your questions in the Q&A at the bottom, and we're going to leave plenty of time at the end to answer your questions. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Alexandra.
Oh my gosh, Amy, thank you so much. So y'all bear with me as I go through that process that we all know so well of sharing our screens. I am so honored and pleased to be with you all today and to have the opportunity to share with you a little bit more about the University of Texas at Austin. Now, we have a saying here at UT Austin, and it is our motto. It is absolutely the one that we live by. Oh, hang on a second. That is not doing what I wanted it to do. See, you can tell that I was an English major. We're going to try this one again. Hang on. Stop that. And we're going to try sharing that screen again. Thanks for bearing with me, y'all. There we go. That's not the way I wanted y'all to see it. Okay. And, I promise this will be the most entertaining presentation you've ever seen. I'm going to make it completely worth your time. There we go. Oh my goodness. Well, nothing perfect, right? Well, to begin, as I said, at the University of Texas at Austin, we have a motto: what starts here changes the world. Right now, what's starting here is me trying to change my relationship to PowerPoint. But what starts here changes the world. And what we mean by that is really not about us as a university. It's a commentary on our students. And we're pleased to welcome students from all over the country and, of course, all over the state of Texas to us. And hopefully I will be able to share a little bit. Oh, Amy, unfortunately, I am having a little bit of trouble, and I know that Amy and Annie are helping me both out with my screen sharing and my tech here. So hopefully my screen share will be able to come through. Oh, excellent. All right. Y'all, grant me grace. Thank you. Whew, here we go. Oh, what starts here changes the world. No. As I said, it's about our students. It's not about us at the university. It's really about what our students have come done on campus and what they've gone on to do as alumni. And it really is our honor and our pleasure to be able to be a part of every student's story. When I'm talking with students, I often get, kind of corny, kind of schmaltzy, and I talk about how for 4 years, you are sort of woven into that tapestry of UT Austin. You are on campus or crisscrossing, everyone bringing their own unique thread. And then you go out into the world and you bring that thread of UT Austin with you. So let's talk a little bit more about what a UT Austin education means, what it's going to be able to offer you. Now, we are proud to be a Tier 1 research institution. Now, I'm sure it's a term you've heard quite a bit if you're looking at schools. So what does it mean? It means we do an awful lot of research, and we get quite a bit of funding to do it, over $500 million in funding each year. And now students can often get really excited by the idea of research and then think, oh, well, that's not going to apply to me. We're a university with about a total student population of around 50,000 students, and 39,000 of those students are our undergraduates. And so that means that our undergraduates, you are the heart and soul of our campus. The things that you are going to be able to do are going to be incredible, and you can start doing them as early as your freshman year. We have the largest undergraduate freshman research program in the entire country. It's the reason why we have been awarded these incredible accolades. Number 31 in the world, number 1 in the state of Texas. There's so many things happening on our campus, from the opportunity to work with award-winning faculty like Dr. John Goodenough, who was just given the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his work in inventing the lithium-ion battery. If you look him up, you'll also find he was there in developing RAM, random access memory. So it just shows you lightning really does strike twice. The man is 97 years old. He still actively teaches, and he does teach undergraduates. But it's not just about the incredible faculty. Our students are inspired by the environment that they are in. Undergraduates were a part of developing 3D printing, which was invented on our campus. One of our incredibly entrepreneurial undergraduates by the name of Michael Dell started a certain computer company from his residence hall on our campus. It's really an exciting place to be. And we're so excited when students think that they want to bring their gifts to our campus. The university is a university in the truest sense. We are made up of 13 different schools and colleges, encompassing 170 fields of study. When a student applies to UT Austin, they do apply directly to a major, but that doesn't mean that they are siloed into that major for the duration of their 4 years. It just means that's the place where they start. We all have that one thing that we're most excited to do first, and that's just where we begin. You will also have the option of adding another major. You can switch your major. You could triple major if you really never wanted to sleep again. You have the option for minors, or things that we like to call certificates, which are like a form of an interdisciplinary minor, where you might choose a certificate in something like the business of healthcare, where you'll get to take classes at the Macomb School of Business, which is the #5 business school in the country. You'll take classes at the Moody College of Communication, and you'll take classes in the College of Natural Science. This will give you that opportunity to truly individualize your academic experience, because that's one thing I love about UT Austin. Each student who comes to it comes as they are and who they are, and they take from it exactly what they want. It's always about your goals, your desires, and your visions for yourself for the future. As you're looking at schools, I want you to always keep in mind that you are the most important part of this process. You are that missing piece, and it's all about finding the schools that are going to give you those options and those opportunities to do the things and experience the things that you most want for yourself. Experience is huge for us. We believe in experiential learning as one of our core values. Experiential learning takes many, many forms. It might take the form of research. And of course, when we think of research, we oftentimes think these pictures up at the top. We're thinking about labs, we're thinking about centrifuges, we're thinking about microscopes, but it goes beyond that, because 75% of our undergraduates will participate in independent research while they are here. We have been ranked number 16 in the country for our undergraduate research. And as I mentioned before, we are home to the largest undergraduate research program in the country. So proud of that. We don't want you to think that you're just kind of out there floating in the midst with all of this, that you have to figure this all out on your own. We believe that when we are fortunate enough to have you come to our campus and be part of the Longhorn family, part of the Longhorn community, it's our role to make sure you know everything that is available to you. That's likely why we have a nearly 96% retention rate from freshman to sophomore year. We ensure that our students have an excellent experience from the moment that they arrive, that they know that they are truly welcomed into our community, that they have access to the best resources, whether that's tutoring, whether that's the writing center, whether that is our student health center, our mental health facilities for students, because we know it is stressful to be a student, and we want you to know that you have our support all the way around. It's all about having that full 360 experience. And now it always feels strange for me to talk to students about coming to UT Austin, because I love Austin, but I would be remiss, can't tell you that that what starts here changes the world, and then not talk to you about going out to see the world, because we do boast the #3 study abroad program in the country for the percentage of students that we send abroad. And you can truly customize it to fit your schedule. You can find programs that will send you, that will take you to study abroad over the summer, that'll take you for a Maymester where you'll do a UT course somewhere else in the world with a UT professor for about a month. Or you could do a traditional semester-long program, but then you might have to decide, do I miss football season or do I miss basketball season? These are tough questions. As I mentioned, all of these study abroad experiences do mean leaving Austin. And that is one of the best parts about studying at UT Austin, is making Austin your home. Tied in with experiential learning, of course, is internships. 95% of our students, by the time they graduate, will have done at least one internship, and the vast majority will do significantly more than that. And why wouldn't you? Every single school and college has their own career services office where you'll be able to go in, work with advisors, find internships around the world, around the country, but absolutely in Austin. Maybe it'll be within the halls of our state capitol. Maybe it'll be in the offices of Google or Apple, or maybe perhaps in the studios of the Longhorn Network. There's so much available to you. And I guess to kind of harken back to that idea of study abroad, it's not just about football or basketball. Sorry, my dog has opinions too about what you'll be missing. It is also about, are you going to miss South by Southwest in the spring? Or are you going to miss Austin City Limits in the fall? These are the big questions if you're a student studying at UT Austin. Of course, while Austin itself is part of your broader community, the campus itself is your home. You're part of that Longhorn family. And as I mentioned before, we want you to bring all it is that you are and everything it is that you are excited about and passionate about when you come to the university. We want you to bring that and infuse that into our community. There are so many student organizations that you can be a part of, but if there's something there in our 1,300 schools and in our 1,300 clubs that you don't see, we want you to start it. I've had the good fortune of being at the university for the last 5 years, and in that time, we have increased by 400 clubs, which seems wild to me, but to me, it is the truest reflection that this is a school that wants you to come and bring who you are, not come and conform to what you see. Come, bring who you are, allow yourself to share the things that you're passionate about and form more communities around that. That is how we all grow and improve. It's all about being a part of community and making new communities. It's how we all, that's really how we all learn best. It's how we take learning and make it into our education. And the UT experience is truly unique in that way. Texas is in and of itself a melting pot. I will admit I am from Connecticut and this place has welcomed me wholeheartedly. It's official. My snow boots are out the window. I'm hardly ever going to go back to Connecticut when I ever need to use those. And I feel fully embraced by this university, by this city. And I love seeing the experience that our students have when they come and they experience life here on campus. I myself participate in high holidays at Hillel, even though I have my own synagogue here in Austin, because I love our campus community so much. Now, again, you don't even have to leave the campus to have such incredible experiences. We have 5 museums just on our campus alone. There is a wealth of knowledge that's here for you. So when you're thinking about schools, think about the different opportunities you want available to you. Think about the different experiences you want available to you. It is really hard not to brag about having 10 million volumes. We have 17 libraries. We have 14 residence halls. For me, that is just tickles me every single time, because when finals roll around, those libraries start to feel like residence halls too. So I often joke that those numbers can be a little bit interchangeable. Of course, UT Austin is nothing without the Longhorn spirit. We are nothing without Burnt Orange. We are nothing without our Hook'em Horns. It is a very, very special place, but Texas means something different to everyone else, and we experience that Longhorn spirit in different ways. But I have to admit, even if you do not like football or think you do not like football, there is nothing quite like feeling that surge in DKR Stadium when you are cheering on your team, when you are cheering on your friends out there on the field. It is a very, very special time. And even if you only ever do one game at UT Austin, you will remember it always, and you'll always look back fondly on it. I have often joked with people that UT Austin has produced more Olympic medalists than some countries have, which feels like a strange flex, but I am very proud of it, because I like to point out that it does go beyond those typical sports. We honor all of the different gifts that our students are bringing, and it also shows we're so excited about things beyond football and basketball. We love our swimming and diving teams. Our women's volleyball team is unbelievable. And while it is not here, we are the current World Cup Quidditch champions. And if you learn nothing else from this presentation, please learn that I do not know how to use PowerPoint very well when I am under the gun. And we are the World Cup Quidditch champions. Just to give you a sense of the kinds of students who are gravitating towards UT Austin, when I'm often asked, who comes to UT? I have no answer, and it is very frustrating. But sometimes when I nail it down, I do say, actually, this is the perfect environment for it, because I do say students with chutzpah, because I believe that it takes students who want to do and be that change. Students who want to be leaders, even if it's being leaders in a small way, like being the first one in their family to go to college. Students who want to be leaders in being that one to speak up for what's right. And that is what I do believe makes a UT Austin student. Someone who is willing to step outside of that box, someone who is willing to really go after their passions, regardless of what everyone else is doing. So explore everything that UT Austin has to offer. I do want you to take a look at these dates, and please go to our website, go to admissions.utexas.edu, look at our application. We are on the Coalition and applytexas.org, which is a Texas specific, so most students from out of state will use Coalition. Today, we did say that for our incoming class, in light of everything that's been going on, in light of COVID, in light of everything that's facing the College Board and the ACT with offering healthy test sittings, we are going to be waiving our test requirement. So we will be test optional this year. We'll be considering the test the way we would be considering a letter of recommendation. You are welcome to submit it or not submit it. So that's brand new as of yesterday at noon yesterday. So very brand new for us. But please, our application opens on August 1st. It is not due finally until December 1st. You are welcome to submit it on November 1st. And if you do so, you will learn your decision by February 1st. There's so much to learn about the university. I encourage you to explore our website and to reach out to our counselors. Our entire team of counselors serves students from out of state, so don't worry about specifically finding the Atlanta counselor or the New York counselor or the Bay Area counselor. We are all here for you. All 30 some odd of us are here to support you. But I feel the best way to get to know a school is by speaking to students who live the experience every single day. And so I'm going to turn it over to Sloan and Dorothy. And I think, in fact, it's Dorothy who's going to kick us off. So, and thanks again for bearing with me, y'all. You are the best.
Hi, my name is Dorothy. I am a junior at UT. And I'm in A-Phi, which is the Jewish sorority here on campus. And I'm also the president of Texas Hillel. I'm majoring in sociology and minoring in history with an emphasis on Jewish and Middle Eastern studies. So I guess first I can talk about why I chose UT. So I feel like there are a good amount of people out there who have wanted to go to UT their whole entire life, and it's just like their dream school. And that was definitely me. Ever since I was a little girl, I always knew I wanted to go to UT. My whole entire family went there. And so there's definitely a lot of pressure for me to get into that school. And also, if I ever talked about TCU or A&M, my family definitely did not like that. So that was super off limits. But yeah, so basically I knew I needed to go to this school. I wanted to go to this school. It's what my family talked about. And when I got here, I realized that this is an amazing school, and I'm so, so glad I chose to go here. Not only is I like big schools, and UT is definitely a big school. It has such a fun football season. Also, it's in Austin, which is a really great city to live in, especially when you're young. And there are a lot of great honors programs here, which help make the school a lot smaller and give you like a tighter knit community. And I feel like the Jewish population here is big. And if you wanted to, you could literally only have Jewish friends, but it's not too big that you feel overpowered by it, or you feel super small in a really big pond, sorry. But I would say my advice for other people, for incoming seniors, is to really think about what you want in a school, which is not something that I did, and it ended up being totally fine. But if I had to go back, that's definitely something I would do. So one way you can do that is look at your high school. Is your high school big or small? Do you like that? Do you have a lot of Jewish friends who go to your high school? If you do you like that? If you don't, do you just like ask yourself all these questions, and you can use your high school to help figure out what you want out of a school, and use the application process to really do some reflection, which might sound kind of cheesy, but I think that'd be super, super helpful when you're deciding what school you want to go to, because it's not only about getting into the school, it's about what the school can provide for you. And there are so many different options out there. And if you are interested in going to a school with a really cool city that is big, that has a lot of opportunities, a lot of different programs you can be in, that has a good Greek life scene, then definitely UT is the school for you. I'm so happy that I chose this school, but I would highly recommend that you do some reflection, think about what you want before deciding which school to go to. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was just Jewish life on campus. So, like I said before, I'm the president of Texas Hillel. And one thing that I really like about UT's Jewish community is that I feel like I have a lot of Jewish friends, and going in high school, I didn't really have that many Jewish friends. So it was really nice to be able to hang out with so many Jewish people. I feel super comfortable in that environment. And so that's awesome. But I don't feel like there are too many Jewish people. There are definitely, I definitely have other friends. And I feel like when there's so many Jewish people at a school, it can be hard to get involved in Jewish organizations. But for me, like UT has the perfect amount of Jewish people. So it was really easy for me to get involved with Hillel and have a leadership position. And another thing that I wanted to say about being Jewish in college is growing up, I was very Jewish. I went to I had Shabbat dinner at my grandparents' house every Friday. And one thing that I love about college is you can make your Judaism however you want it to be. If you weren't really religious in high school and you want to be more religious, college is the perfect place to explore that. But if you were religious and you don't really care for it anymore, that's also an option. And I think UT provides something for everyone. And if you want to explore your Judaism more, Hillel and Chabad are definitely the places to do that. So we have both Hillel and Chabad on UT campus, and students usually go to both. And lastly, I'm also in a Jewish sorority. UT has one Jewish sorority and 3 Jewish fraternities, which is super cool. So I have lots of Jewish friends now, and that's also been a really amazing experience. So I think that's all I have for now. If Sloan wants to talk about her experience.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sloan Wyatt. I'm from Atlanta. And I'm also a junior, which is super weird. I'm not used to saying that yet. Studying journalism with a minor in women and gender studies and a public policy certificate. I'm a part of Phi Chi Theta, which is a business fraternity, Alpha Chi Omega, which is a sorority, and I'm on Communication Council, which is basically a branch of student government that oversees the communication school. So I'm just like a delegate on that. I don't hold a leadership position. My story about coming to UT was pretty unique. Dorothy spoke about how UT was always her dream. I always had a dream of like what kind of school I wanted, but not what school exactly. I knew I wanted to study journalism. I knew I wanted a city. For a long time, I had big dreams of like NYU, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the big city, but I did not like NYU. And I just walked onto Texas's campus one day and I fell in love, which I know sounds really cliche. And I never thought I was going to be the kind of person that walked onto a campus and just kind of felt it. But there was something about walking down Speedway that just like seeing the trees everywhere and seeing the buildings. I think we have a really aesthetically gorgeous campus. And I knew it the second that I went there that this was it. It was definitely hard coming from out of state. I only applied to out of state schools and I knew I wanted to leave my home and I wanted to branch out. But I think there's one thing about saying you want to branch out and another about doing it. So the first couple of months are hard. Texas has a really like prominent, strong culture. The Texas people are very proud of being Texans, and it's a little like, whew, there are cowboys, there are lots of longhorns, like actual cow longhorns. And it was a little scary, but I also loved it. I'm not a huge football person, as they were talking about before, but moments in DKR, some of the best days of my life. The LSU game this past year was incredible. There's just a lot of pride about going to UT. And I think it's one of the things I love about the school the most is that like everyone wants to be here and everyone is so happy that they're here, whether they're from Texas or out of state. I think that one of the ways as an out of state student that it's helpful to kind of become a part of the community is to find your circles. So a lot of people will tell you Greek life. I chose not to join a Jewish sorority because I went through the rush process and I ended up finding another sorority that I really loved. But within my sorority, I am the Jewish chair. So I found like a Jewish group of girls and we have our own little group chat and we have like breakfast together and Shabbos and stuff sometimes. I also think that I'm losing my words for a second. I also think that the club fair is super important. I like to think about that scene in Pitch Perfect, which, Mom, if you're watching this, shout out to you. It's my mom's favorite movie. I like to think about that scene in Pitch Perfect when she's walking down the like hall or walking down the road and she sees hundreds of different clubs everywhere. That's what it felt like the first time I went to the club fair. And I just kind of wrote my name down on every single sheet. I mean, I like the Asian Alliance Club and like Karate Club and Grilling Club. I don't even know. I just started randomly writing my name everywhere and collecting free things. And I received a lot of emails, but I dabbled in a bunch of clubs my freshman year. I didn't stick with all of them, but I think that's what's really important is just trying everything out. I met Dorothy my first semester of freshman year, actually, because I joined J Tribe, which is a Jewish organization that brings together Jews from all over campus, and they do fun little activities together around the city. One time we went, there was this room, it was like a painting place where you like go inside and you do splatter painting, and then you get to make all these art projects. It was really fun. So highly suggest club fair, highly suggest really reaching out to all the different clubs possible. In regards to my Jewish experience on campus, I definitely have taken a different route. I grew up at a Jewish day school, so I had a very religious background. I spoke Hebrew, I went to Israel, my entire life was Jewish, and all my friends were Jewish. When I came to college, it's not that I didn't want that anymore, I just wanted something different. So I joined a non-Jewish sorority, as I said, and I go to Hillel and Chabad for services, but I think I surround myself more with Jewish friends and I participate in like being culturally Jewish than religiously Jewish these days. I think that UT Austin is one of those schools that a lot of Jews gravitate towards. So you'll have a really strong community behind you and you'll never really feel lost. There was a song I heard once where they say, wherever you go, there's always someone Jewish. You're never alone. And I think that's true. I think that because it has such a great Jewish population, I didn't feel like I needed to join all of these Jewish organizations right away. Like I just kind of felt comfortable knowing that there were people there Jews kind of feel like family. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but like there's this sense of community that I don't think other people have. And I don't know what else to say. That's about it. Yeah, I love the school with all of my heart and soul. I've met my best friends, and I could talk about it all day.
Great, so I will go ahead and jump in. Thank you so much, Alexandra and Dorothy and Sloan. My name is Maya Trayaron. I'm the Executive Director of Texas Hillel. I'm so glad you've all joined us to learn more about our campus. It's really great to hear from our students on their perspective. And I'm here to share a little bit more specifically about Texas Hillel and about Jewish life at UT and talk about what we do. So I've actually worked on campuses for over a decade with Hillel, but just finished up my third year at UT. And I'm also not a native Texan, and chose to move to Austin and to take this job really because I also fell in love with Austin and with UT as a campus. And so I think that's also helpful as you're looking at it as a student to think about what draws people to this place, especially if you didn't grow up in Texas. And I know for me, not just Austin as an exciting city that you've heard about, but for me, it was really about the caliber of students that we have at UT that make it a great place to run a Hillel. Our students, as you've heard from two of them, are very, very capable, intellectually driven, but also really excited about the social opportunities that exist on a campus like UT. And when it comes to Jewish life, that makes it a great place to work because we have outstanding student leaders who are excited and eager to get involved and to make things happen for their peers and for our community. So I'm going to share my screen now with a little bit of information about the Texas Hillel program and our facility and some stats about Jewish life. And then I believe we're going to have a panel discussion with all of us. So if you'll hold on for 1 second. There we go. Great. So I actually want to give some credit to Dorothy, who you heard from earlier, who prepared this presentation. But a common question that we get when we have visiting families on campus, in particular from out of state, is how many Jewish students attend UT. And there's no exact way to know, but our best estimate is that there's around 3,000 Jewish undergrads at UT. So as Dorothy mentioned, it's a sizable population. It's a very big community. But it's not by any means the majority of the campus. So it does give that feel of being part of a large Jewish community while still being able on a large campus like UT to find your niche in other parts of campus life as well. And Alexandra would know more about these statistics, but anecdotally from our experience, while most Jewish students are from in-state, most of the big cities like Dallas and Houston, Austin and San Antonio, increasingly we are seeing a lot of Jewish students from out of state be admitted and choose to come to UT, including students like Sloan who are from Atlanta, students from the New York, New Jersey area, from Chicago, from South Florida. So there's a lot of people from around the country who are recognizing the value that UT offers, both academically and socially and Jewishly, and choosing to come here. I think UT is a great place to be a Jewish student for a lot of the reasons that you heard, is that there's a lot of opportunities, there's options, there's ways for people to get involved, all while being part of a large, big state school kind of experience and all of the benefits that go along with that. So you should see on your screen right now a little virtual tour of our Texas Hillel facility. It's an 18,000 square foot building. It's just one block off of campus, and we're really in the heart of West Campus, which is where many students live. So we're very convenient to students when they're going from their apartment to class. We're very proud to be able to offer a physical space for students to come together to study, to have meetings, to attend programs. You see the picture on the bottom is from a Shabbat dinner. So this space was built in 2006. It's relatively new. And another thing I think that really adds to Jewish life is, in addition to scheduled programs that might be happening, and we'll hear about some of those, it's also a great place for students just to come and hang out, have a cup of coffee, have a place to relax, to maybe get away from the stresses of everyday life, to meet their friends. And so that's something that we offer on campus. The heart and soul of Texas Hillel and Jewish life on campus is our student leadership. And I think particularly at UT, that's a big focus of ours, is we have great staff, wonderful professionals who dedicate their life to running Hillel, but really we're student driven. And I know many of you on this call are involved in youth programs, teen programs. That kind of continues in college. And I think even a little bit more so, as Dorothy kind of alluded to, is when you're on campus, right? No one is telling you what you need to do. No one's telling you you need to go to camp or need to go to Hebrew school, this or that. It's all up to our students and what they want to see happen around them. So we really invest in our student leadership, and that's also a great way to get involved and to make friends and to create opportunities that you want to be a part of. So see on the screen just some of our student leaders. I will point out, of these students, 2 of them are from out of state. So we also have a lot of out-of-state students who get involved as student leaders at Hillel and Jewish Life. Other ways to get involved is we have multiple student internship programs or fellowship programs that might be focused on Jewish learning, that are in leadership development. We have a group called Campus Engagement Interns whose sole focus, as I like to say, is making a really big campus feel smaller. And they go out on campus, they meet students for coffee, and they create niche opportunities for students to get involved and connect Jewishly that might be harder for some students to access on their own. We also, you heard Alexandra mention all the different student clubs and student orgs, and Sloan talked about that student club fair is a great way to get involved. Connected to Hillel, we have about 30 different student groups that are under our umbrella. So there's also a lot of ways to make Hillel feel smaller and to connect with a specific activity or a cause that you're passionate about. So some of that might be pro-Israel programming, where we're very proud we work with an APAC student cadre. We have a Texans for Israel group. We have a special group for Israeli American students to be able to connect with each other. We offer Jewish learning programs. One of our anchors are social justice and community service programs, where if you want to be a part of a learning program about feminism, social justice, all sorts of different topics, we offer that. We also offer ways to volunteer in small groups with our community, which is one of our core Jewish values, and also a great way for students to get involved with Hillel and Jewish Life. So see some of those opportunities here on the screen. We also each year have 400 or 500 different events that are run through Hillel. Some of them are small discussions or a speaker, and some of them are really large on-campus events. One of our marquee events that we're known for nationally actually is called the Israel Block Party, which we believe is the largest pro-Israel student event on campus in the US. This year, sadly, it was postponed due to the pandemic, but every spring, we gather about 1,000 people on the center of campus on Gregory Gym Plaza. And there's a student committee. Actually, one of our recent student co-chairs of the event is from Atlanta, Ethan Robinson. And the students plan this all year, have different booths and interactive activities for students around campus, Jewish and non-Jewish, to learn about Israel. And so that's always a highlight of the year. Every week on campus, we have Shabbat at Hillel, which includes options for services, different types of services, Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, or a discussion. And then everyone joins together for a kosher Shabbat meal that is catered in-house. And that's also a great way students who are involved in different parts of Jewish life, different parts of campus life, can convene together and come together to enjoy a Shabbat meal. We do offer birthright trips, both winter break and summer break. And we also offer other ways to travel to Israel. This past summer, we were set to pilot a really unique internship program in Tel Aviv for 30 UT students who are going to go for 6 weeks to have an internship and live together in Tel Aviv. And that's a program we hope to continue next year. So here's some ways to stay connected with Texas Hillel if you have further questions. I just want to reiterate, it's an amazing place to be a Jewish student. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of ways to get involved. Our students are really exceptional, and we look forward to hopefully welcome you on campus sometime in the future.
Wow, you guys, that was incredible. Sign me up. It's really amazing. Like every person that I know who's ever gone to Texas, they have this passion, and you all really brought that passion too. It was very heartfelt. So I want to be able to get to everybody's questions, answer the questions that we got during registration. I'd ask all the panelists to turn on their video. And again, for all the teens and the parents out there, please, feel free to put your questions in the Q&A. We're going to answer them all. And if we can't for any reason, we're going to send you the email addresses of all the panelists, so you can follow up with them if you have other questions that come up. So in registration, we had a couple of questions. And actually, Sloan, maybe you can answer this. It asked about the undergrad business program, and in particular about the business fraternity. And I know that you're part of that. Is that something that you can talk a little bit about your experience?
So I actually have a lot of experience with the business school, even though I'm not in it. I like to call myself a fake Macomb snake. Um, so what exactly do you want to hear? Just so I don't ramble for too long.
Yeah, but talk a little bit about the business fraternity that you're part of, and how are, what do you know about the business program? And then obviously, Alexandra can answer some more questions about the business program as well.
Okay, so there are a handful of different business fraternities. I don't have the number of how many off the top of my head, but I'm in PCT. And the reason I joined a business fraternity, especially being a non-business major, is because I think having a foundation of business is really important. Learning how to network, learning how to like make a resume, make a LinkedIn, different skills like that. And I also think it's really important to just engage with students of different colleges. Sometimes you can really be pigeonholed within your one college or within Greek life or something. And it's important just to branch out as much as you can. I will say that most of the people in my business fraternity are business students or in the business school in some capacity. I'd say probably like 60 or 70%. But what you do is you go through a rush similar to Greek life, except rather than getting all dressed up in dresses and pearls and talking about your favorite hobbies, it's a little more formal. You go through interviewing rounds, you go through a paper application, and it's about a 2-week process. And then they take in a new pledge class every semester. And throughout your pledge semester, you have to complete different tasks. Like you have to interview with an alumni or a current member. In order to practice your interviewing skills, you submit your resume and you get markups from the older members, and then you have to resubmit it just to improve your resume. They have different workshops. We have guest speakers come in. We actually had somebody from Dell come in, and the guest speakers are really helpful because a lot of people get internships from the business fraternity. Most of my friends this summer are actually working for Dell, and they got that internship either from alumni of PCT or from when the Dell speaker came in last year, and they just had kept in contact with that recruiter and ended up getting an internship. It's honestly my favorite part of UT. I joined in the fall of my sophomore year, which felt weird because I think a lot of the times people think that you need to join freshman year something and then stick with it. But it's very normal to keep trying new things sophomore, even junior year, maybe even senior. So I joined in the fall. I've been in it for a year, and it's been the most incredible experience. It's a great mix between professional and social. It allows me to meet so many different people. It's co-ed, and yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Alexandra, do you want to add anything to that? And I do have a question. So when you apply to UT, do you actually apply into the business school or into the school that you want?
Yes. So when you apply to UT, and this applies to Texans as well as out-of-state students, so it's not a different process. You'll indicate what your first choice major is, and so when we evaluate students, we are evaluating you for admission to your major. So if I were to be able to give the best kind of piece of advice I could about an application right now, it would be bear that in mind. That when we are looking at you, we're not just looking at you as a fit for UT Austin, we're looking at you as a fit for what you've described. So sharing more about your passion. So if you're thinking that McCombs is where you want to be and you're applying for the business program, then I'm hoping that you will tell us more about those extracurricular activities, tell me more about what DECA has meant to you. If you've started a small business, even if it's just like mowing lawns in your neighborhood, that you'll tell me more about that so I can see that this is something that you not just have an aptitude for, but that you have like a really amazing kind of positive drive and attitude for. We form our classes based on people, not on numbers. The holistic review is very, very real at UT Austin, which with this past year, over 57,000 applications, you wouldn't think we're digging in like that, but we truly are, because we view it as our responsibility to students like Dorothy and Sloan to constantly be making sure that we are bringing in more students that really want to be there and want to contribute. But when you apply to your major, And you are also evaluated only for that major. So we don't offer just sort of general admissions. If you're not admitted to business, we'll just admit you in general. We don't have that. We're just so impacted, we can only admit to major. So taking the time to learn about the programs, checking them out on the website. That's why we try and go as in-depth as we can, participating in all the virtual info sessions we're offering right now on Zoom. Please dig in, reach out to the counselors. We're here for you.
Excellent. Alex, can you also talk about the honors program?
Oh, sure thing. So UT, because of the structure that it has, it does not have a centralized honors program. So there isn't like a central honors college. If you think about how different all the programs are, to have a student that's doing computer science and a student that's doing social work, having them in a unified honors college isn't going to serve them well. So instead, we have honors programs within individual schools and colleges. So there's the Canfield Business Honors Program within the Macomb School of Business. There's the Plan 2 Honors Program, which is housed in the College of Liberal Arts. There's an honors program within the Moody College of Communication. And there are 5 honors programs that are available to incoming freshmen, but there are honors programs that you can apply to and enter into once you are an established student. So if you are one of those students that's like, I've always been an honors student, but there isn't an honors program for students who want sports management, there is. It's not something that will become available to you till you're a junior. Honors applications are going to be separate from, but tandem with, your application to UT Austin. So you'll do your application for UT, but if you're also applying to, say, Canfield Business Honors, and they do have an awesome virtual presentation, it's typically on Fridays. My colleague Sarah does it, she's wonderful. You're going to do your BHP, CDHP application too. So you're gonna make sure that you do the essay for them, that you get the letter of recommendation for them. And they are gonna review your application at the same time we're reviewing your application. So if they decided they weren't able to admit you, it would in no way impact your admission to the university. So they're not going to be like, oh, hey, we weren't so sure about Zach. And I apologize if there's a Zach on the call, it's nothing personal. It will be like, well, that's fine, that's on you. We still think Zach's gonna be great in Macombs. Just Zach's not gonna be, it's a different pool for BHP and we keep it all separate, but you do have to go through the separate review and they do make all of their own decisions.
Excellent, thank you. So I'd like to ask a question that came in through registration about how UT supports incoming freshmen academically, in terms of wellness. You, I think, mentioned a little bit, Alexandra, about some of the writing center and tutoring, but what other kinds of services specifically? And so I'd love to hear from Alexandra, but also why don't you start, Dorothy, after Alexandra, you can talk a little bit about how you've maybe accessed some of these things, and Sloan as well.
So every student who arrives on campus is going to be a part of what we call a 360 connection. And so in some cases, and the focus on that is community. So in some cases that might be that you're in an honors program, but in other cases it might be that you are in a FIG. So a freshman year, a first year interest group. Dorothy, Sloan, were either of y'all in FIGs? Either residential FIGs or so nods and head shakes. So it's so different. But the focus is that you are going to be able to be with a group of students, essentially starting at orientation. UT has about a 19-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which is awesome. But we know you are going to take some larger classes, and a lot of classes are going to be those foundational courses that you need. So FIGs are designed to, when you arrive, make sure that you're going to get that academic support by not only helping you to sign up for those classes where you're going to work with your advisor, but in those bigger classes, helping to make sure that you sign up with the other members of your FIG, so that when you go into that large biology class that's going to have about 300 people in it, the other 17 members of your FIG have hopefully all signed up for that same biology course. So that's a group of familiar faces that you are going to have throughout the semester. Not only are you going to see them in the classroom, you're going to meet with them every week, along with your upperclassman mentor and your faculty or staff mentor. And this is going to be one of the ways that you're going to have that foundation just sort of from the get-go. It's UT Austin, so I like to call it kind of just like networking 101, but it's also about making sure that you have this safe place. So whether it's, I've got my first paper coming up, I don't know what to do, to I swear if my roommate like just leaves our door open one more time, like I don't know what I'm going to do. It's about making sure that you're well received there. And so a lot of that has to do with understanding that you've never been in college before and just giving you that safe space to be vulnerable and learn the resources at the university and acquaint you and then give you that upperclassman mentor. So you've got that big sister, big, big cousin, big brother experience, and say like, this is how you do this. This is why you want to go here. These are like how many tutoring sessions you get one-on-one, you get unlimited group tutoring, and just know that there are all these people who are here in your corner while also letting you become independent enough to go and sign up for that first tutoring session yourself. I know that someone asked about LGBTQIA support. I love our Gender and Sexuality Center. I love the team in there. We host a Longhorn Pride event. We're on our 3rd year, so we host a special event just for our admitted students to help them understand the resources that are available on our campus and to just make sure that our visibility is strong, to know that all of our students are welcome on our campus. So from small things like making sure that allyship is strongly displayed to emphasizing, I actually typically my pronouns are shown in my Zoom, making sure that there's just an understanding and an awareness of inclusivity and that it's the norm. So I'd say that UT Austin, while I know a lot of people have reservations about Texas itself, UT Austin is such a strong school for students to come and be comfortable and feel well received at every level and know that they're going to be successful and have the tools for success.
That was really, really helpful, really, really informative. Like Sloan, Dorothy, do you want to add anything to that? Should we move on?
Yeah,
More questions?
I can add one thing, which is something that I forgot to mention. I'm like a little embarrassed about this, but I'm also in an honors program. That's why I was not in a FIG. I'm in the liberal arts honors program. And even though I didn't mention it, it's actually amazing. And I cannot recommend it enough. If you want to apply to liberal arts, definitely look into applying for this honors program. It has been so supportive. I took classes. You have to take certain classes your freshman year. And those professors really, really helped me become comfortable in a college environment and taking high-level classes. And they helped me with my writing skills, my reading comprehension skills. There's free printing in the liberal arts honors office, which is such a perk. And you also are introduced to a whole nother group of people. So I would highly recommend applying to any honors program that you think could fit for you.
Excellent. Sloan, if you want to answer that, you totally can, but I also want you to answer about housing. There's a question, is there guaranteed housing for all UT students? And talk a little bit about where you lived freshman year. And maybe Dorothy, you can talk as well. Like, do most people stay on campus all 4 years? Are you living in the sorority house? How does that work?
So housing is super interesting. There's not guaranteed housing for all freshmen. And especially for someone coming out of state, I didn't really understand how housing worked, especially when I was applying. So I did not put down a deposit when I first applied. And I ended up living off campus my freshman year, but there are these different housing facilities that are kind of like, they're off campus, but they're still open to freshmen. They're a hybrid between an apartment and a dorm. The popular ones would be the Callaway House and Castilian. I actually lived in University Towers, RIP. It's now gone. But those are one option. So that's where I ended up living. I think it's like 70%. I mean, Alexandra will have to fact check me on that, but I think it's about like 65 to 70% of freshmen live on campus. I definitely wonder sometimes what a dorm experience would have been like, but I shared a room with someone. We had a living room, we had a kitchen, and then there was another room with 2 people in it. So it was dorm-esque.
Alex, do you want to add anything to that?
75% of freshmen choose to live on campus.
Got it. Okay. How about you, Dorothy? Did you live in your sorority house or sophomore year?
Well, freshman year, I don't know if someone said this, I can't remember honestly, but freshman year, that's when most people, if you're gonna live on campus, that's when you would usually live on campus. And then your sophomore year, usually most people move into an apartment or their sorority house, something like that.
Okay.
My freshman year, I did live on campus. I lived in the honors dorms, which you can do if you're in an honors program. And I really enjoyed it. My roommate we're roommates now. She's one of my best friends. So it ended up working out really well. And yeah, so my experience was probably, like pretty similar to Sloan's experience. You eat in the dining hall. And but I really did like living in the honors dorms. It's nice and quiet, and you have a little courtyard, and it's really cute. So
Very nice. Thank you. So there's a question about anti-Semitism. So I did want to just ask about that. The students, I'd love to ask if you've ever experienced that. Maya, I would love maybe you to start, sort of address the BDS movement, sort of what's your
Sure.
experience and
Sure, it's a good question. It's a sad question that we hear a lot, actually. I think most campuses are, hear that question. I would say this, I'm curious what the students have experienced from my time at UT. Overall, I think it's a very positive campus to be a Jewish student, in terms of the general environment around Israel and being Jewish in general. In terms of anti-Semitism, there have been, I would say, isolated incidents on a relatively small scale that happen, but not something that is widespread. Hillel and the Jewish community have a very strong relationship with the university administration, and the Department of Diversity and Community Engagement, with the Dean of Students office. We're in very close communication. If there ever are issues, we have a direct line of contact, and we also help our students advocate, whether it's to a professor or something else that happens, into what an issue might be. We have a student who's very involved with Hillel who he wears a kippah every day, and he always tells this story that every day of his time at UT he's wearing a kippah and he's never gotten a weird comment or stare or negative comment, and he's very proud of that. In terms of Israel, I mentioned before, our approach is we're very proactive in our pro-Israel relationship building. We ran a trip to Israel. We started last summer for non-Jewish campus leaders, so like student government leaders, editors in the school newspaper, to bring them to Israel, to teach them about the issues and to develop some really close connections. So we're very proactive. There was a BDS vote that came to UT maybe 5 years ago now, 5 or 6 years ago, and was voted down. And we have very strong support in student government. There are occasionally, a couple times a year, some kind of protest or something that happens on campus. But again, we work with our students to have the skills to address it and to be proactive in our own advocacy and education rather than be responsive. So that's what I would say, the experience.
we're running out of time, but Sloan, Dorothy, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Dorothy, do you want to take this first, or do you want me to?
sure, I can say a little bit really fast, and that is so like I said before, I didn't have like a ton of Jewish friends growing up, so I definitely have never been more proud to be Jewish now that I'm at UT. But that being said, I totally agree with Maya. Usually everything, no problems at all. There have been a few isolated incidents, especially because I am in a Jewish sorority, but besides that, like I said, I'm so proud to be Jewish, and I haven't found it a problem at all.
I think as a Jewish teen, it's naive to assume you can go to any college and not experience anti-Semitism. It's just the world we live in right now. And it's sad, but it's true. So anti-Semitism is something that I think at some campuses there's less than others. And I do agree that UT Austin as a whole, I don't feel unwanted or unloved here, but I have run into quite a few different scenarios. My freshman year, my friend had a whiteboard on her front door that they would like write little cute things on, like girls' night tonight or whatever. And someone drew a swastika on it. And that ended up being reported in the Daily Texan. It ended up becoming a big issue. It only happened that one time. It's not like she was continually vandalized or whatnot, but it was a big deal to us. There were a lot of Jewish teens that lived in my building, so it kind of scared us all a little, that somebody that probably lived among us like felt that was okay to do. There have also been comments made, especially in Greek life. I think that Greek life could work a lot better to be less anti-Semitic. Holocaust jokes or different like Jewish slurs and stuff just kind of are thrown around. I have some friends in AE5 that went to a mixer with a fraternity, and some of the fraternity boys were just making really rude comments. And I don't even think people intend to be hateful. Most of the time, I think it comes from ignorance, or I think it comes from a lack of like understanding the lines between like maybe dark humor versus just plain out like rude, just being rude. But I've seen it, and it's scary and it's sad. But it happens everywhere, and you just need to learn as a Jew like how to work through it and how to educate people and how to promote a better world.
Yeah, absolutely. Alexandra, I mean, I don't want to end on that because I would love to hear like, how is UT addressing, you know, and of course, where we are right now as a country, and really, you know, trying to come together and to accept everyone. Like, how is UT addressing the diversity issue and the tolerance issue?
So I think that one thing that UT has probably been known for was the nearly solid decade that we spent in the Supreme Court, fighting for the ways in which we are able to consider the whole person and a whole person's experiences in our consideration of their application for admission. It's one of the reasons I'm extremely proud to work for this university. When we won Fisher, I just knew that I was in the right place, because I believe that we have to have an experience of every single person and not have like a homogenous education is no education at all. So we in the Office of Admission admit that we are likely one of the most progressive, being the passionate educators that we are, wanting to see the diversity of our country, wanting to see the diversity of our state represented on our university. And I think that it's actually very heartening when you read as many applications as we do to see this fantastic generation and how positive, passionate, and optimistic they are. So when we talk about, you know, you're not just bringing that skill level that you have at, you know, sort of X, Y, or Z, sport or computer science. You know, when we say we're building a community, we're also looking at that humanity that our students are bringing into the classroom. And when I said before that we view that as our obligation to students like Sloan and Dorothy, I mean that wholeheartedly. We are recognizing that there are going to be differing viewpoints, and Dr. Leonard Moore was just speaking with us about, you know, this age that we're living in and the hatred. And he's leading a seminar for us, Managing in the Age of Breonna Taylor, and he's a 2-time NAACP honoree. He teaches a class called Race in the Age of Trump. It was previously Race in the Age of Obama. I missed it during the good time, the good title. But you know, he was talking about how he does welcome all perspectives in his classroom, but it's about how we share our viewpoints. It's about how we listen. And I think that for us, that's what we care about. We care about people wanting to be willing to listen. We care about how people want to share their viewpoints and on our university's campus. And we care about people who want to make a positive change. So when we talk about what starts here changes the world, it's that change for the better. Now, as it relates to tolerance in admissions, we can only do so much. We can only kind of see what's coming because we are able to look to the future. And so I'm really enthusiastic about what I see from our students. I'm really enthusiastic about the things that they value and the things that they want to bring to the campus and the voices that they have. But we also see the messages coming from our broader campus community, coming from our president's office. As you know, our former president, Gregory Fenves, was the child Holocaust survivors. And so tolerance was something that was incredibly important to him. Diversity was a major issue of importance for him. And I know that that's being carried through by interim president Jay Hartzell. So I think we only have wonderful places to go from here. And I hope that UT continues to set an example and set a standard the way that we did beginning with the Fisher decision.
Well, I mean, I just want to say thank you so much to all of you, to our panelists. You were just very honest and authentic and really shared your passion for UT. And I know I learned a ton. I know that the participants learned a ton. I want to thank all the teens and the parents for taking the time to be with us today. I want to let you know what's coming up on our college road trip as we're sort of headed towards the end of it. Tomorrow we have Virginia Tech at 5 o'clock. On Friday, we have a lunchtime workshop at 1 o'clock, and it's for high school seniors, and it's called College Applications, What to Do Before the Beach. So then we're going to culminate the month with 3 more info sessions after that. So on Sunday, we have Rollins College. On Monday, we have Wake Forest, and on Tuesday, we have Vanderbilt. And those are all going to be at 5 o'clock. So again, register at our website, roadtriptocollege.org. Follow us on social media at JumpSparkATL. Please take a moment to fill out the survey after this session. And again, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, panelists, and we will see you next time.